Yeah, I just want to apologize to everybody. Dan lost internet connection. We're back up. Dan, I believe we were talking about like flower versus vapes.
Yeah. No, I was just saying that they're both good. It really depends on personal preference. I love the convenience of vaping,
Yeah,
and it makes it easier. But you really can't replace flower for the effect, I
right.
think.
Right. No, I
So
agree. I would agree. You know, it's crazy, Dan. When I went out to Vegas this summer,
yeah,
and it's illegal in Vegas,
of
not
course.
here on the East Coast or in Florida where I live. And so, I went out there, and I'm out there to play poker. So I told the guy when I went to the store, hey, I need to be alert. I need to be, still play, and, be cognizant, whatever. He's like, oh, I got this. It's perfect. It's like an energy drink. So long story short, Dan, like I've never smoked something that had me so energetic. Like
Mm,
I couldn't even sleep that night. And
wow.
I'm on East Coast time too. Keep in mind, I was up until
Oh
10
yeah.
a.m. It was just a different experience for me, and like you said, it's so easy, it's convenient, and so maybe I was hitting it too much. Who knows? It's almost too convenient, So I was like,
It
yeah,
is.
I'm more of a flower guy, but
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it all works. Like I said to the audience, I've got children, so I don't do it as much anymore. That's why I haven't judged in a little while.
yeah,
But you know, nothing but good stuff.
absolutely. And one more question on this topic, because it's something I go back and forth with myself, and I'm curious on your take. What are your thoughts on smoking and trading and its like impact on performance?
So I think it has more to do with the person,
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, and it's kind of like trading itself. It'll bring you the darkness or the light.
Okay.
If you're using weed to escape, it ain't gonna help.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so I would certainly, if someone like, I would not be recommending that the way they learn to trade well is through smoking pot
Right.
specifically.
Right.
Now,
Right.
medicinally speaking, if you understand how it works, there is a beta blocker element to it. It can actually lower your heart rate and keep you a little bit more calm.
Right.
But I wouldn't start that way. Like, again, if you're experienced in the craft of cannabis and understand it, then I don't think there's anything wrong with vaping a little bit during trading. That shouldn't affect you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not anything that I would recommend for someone who's never done it, because it also adds paranoia to some extent if
Sure.
you're not familiar.
Sure.
And
yeah,
that's the last thing you want when you're managing money, is paranoia.
true. Very
Absolutely.
true.
Absolutely. All right. So Dan, yeah. So just kind of the miscellaneous topics now, Dan. I and we don't have to go into that. Well, I guess you said nothing was off topic, so here we go.
Nothing's off topic.
I heard you got banned from Twitter.
And I'm on my fourth Twitter account.
What's that all about?
Yeah. What's the deal, Dan?
I'm a patriot. I'm about spreading the truth and red pilling people about really what's going on, like some of the stuff that we talked about,
Mm-hmm.
venture capital and whatever.
Mhm.
And Twitter, they ain't about that.
Uh-huh.
They want to maintain a very specific narrative, and it's very easy to cross that line. They want you to watch what they want you to watch. That's why their trending topics are always uber lefty and stuff like
Mm,
that. And I'll give you another example on social media that a lot of people don't know. Like, let's take Facebook, for example. Most people think like, oh, Facebook, I interact with my friends on it, blah, 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 blah. But what you don't realize is that Facebook is automatically set uh, to the top feed, not chronological. So they're constantly putting stuff in there that they want you to see. They want you to see your buddies watching Netflix and doing all sorts of stupid bullshit. If
yeah.
you want to switch it to chronological, you have to go to newsfeed, go to chronological, but then if you move away from it and go back, it'll go back to top. So they're making sure you watch Facebook the way they want you to watch it.
Oh,
Mm,
interesting.
And it's the same thing with Twitter on the trending and stuff like that. I do a lot of stuff with Flat Earth. That's one of my favorite things. Twitter doesn't like that. Yeah, you said nothing was off topic.
Yeah. No.
Here
No.
we
No.
go.
No. I know. No. Keep going, Dan. I enjoy. I
Keep
enjoy
going.
you, man. Go. Go.
No, so once you take the red pill, you realize the deception is big. I'm not going to get too political, but it's kind of everywhere.
Uh-huh.
So you realize that everything that you've been taught is a little bit of a lie. And then you go from there, and when you post things about it and expose it, Twitter is like, bye-bye, you've broke some, rule or something or other.
And not having it.
So I'm a big fan of QAnon. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
No, we don't.
A little
You
bit.
guys have never heard about it?
I did.
No,
I have.
I haven't.
All right. Well, again, without getting too political, QAnon is this intelligence operation that lets people kind of get a glimpse of the real world. Now, if you do any research about it and you Google it, it'll tell you it's a right-wing conspiracy theory. But again, Google's part of it. So these are the things that I do online, and when you do that, you get reprimanded. You get spanky spank.
Oh, yes. I noticed that there's a bit of a censorship sort of environment these days.
It's not a little bit. It's big.
I'm up in Canada here, so it's,
Twitter stole 30,000 of my followers. I mean, I now have an account where I've got like 1,500, but I have to keep starting from scratch. And, it's not easy to rebuild. I mean, luckily, that's not how I make my living. But you can imagine, if you got 30,000 followers, you could theoretically monetize some of that. Imagine if they're doing it to people whose livelihood is that.
Sure. Exactly.
Sure. Now, I know this is kind of, not to interrupt you, Dan, but I want to see if you got any thoughts on this, because and I'm sure, I know people have talked about this, but like just today, right? We were talking, we had a prop guy in our room, and he would trade, what was it, Jay, the Cheddar Futures?
He said that there was such a thing as Cheddar Futures.
Yeah, he said something such as, as Cheddar Futures. And I look on my phone today, Dan, when I'm on, I forget what website it was, and I have Sargento cheddar cheese as an advertisement.
Oh, dude, they're listening to every word you say. I mean, you guys are repeating something that has been known. I mean, right. I've seen it myself. And QAnon basically says your phone, even when it's off, it's on. Everything, dude, like Alexa is recording you 24/7. Your phone's recording you 24/7. Those poor slobs that wear an iWatch, dude. That thing knows how your heart's beating. If someone's making their love to their wife when they got that thing on, they know everything about you.
They also have our fingerprints and our retinal eye scans.
Oh, for sure.
It's like
your fingerprints on the iPhone. I mean, it is, guys. It's way worse than you could ever imagine. Which is why, if you're a patriot and you like freedom, you try to expose it a little bit, and that's what I do online. And again, you don't get any merit awards for that. You get your account banned.
Yeah.
And I always say, for those people that if you want to take the red pill, research flat Earth, man.
Tell me a little bit about it, Dan. I'm interested.
Well, there's two thoughts of belief. You either believe we're on a round ball that's rotating around the sun, or we're not. And you find out, if you do the research, that the round ball has never been proven. No pictures have ever been taken of it, and all this stuff from NASA is CGI bullshit. And then you've got dudes that do these experiments that just are amazing, and they prove that we live in a realm that we don't know. Like, the idea is, and I'll just be, again, pure entertainment, guys, since you said nothing's off limits.
No, right? No, go, Dan. I wouldn't ask. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
All right. So if we live on a sphere, which is, the ball Earth, then every mile you see, that there should be a curvature of 8 inches per mile squared. And that's spherical trigonometry. You can look that up and whatever. But nobody can ever prove it. Like, in other words, you can never really see the ocean bending. It always looks flat. If you're at the beach, you see a boat sail away into the horizon, and it's gone. And it seems like it went below the curve. Then you take out your binoculars and boom, it's back. Ain't no curve. It's one of the biggest red pills you could ever take. And, I say this humorous, but not humorous. It's a very big community of scientists and researchers that are realizing that the lie is that big.
Wow.
Fascinating. I had no idea this existed.
Oh, I know, because it's not taught in schools, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, neither is how price advertise in the market to get people's emotions going.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's just like I mean, that's true. They don't teach us the stuff we really need to
They everything that we know is wrong. History, space, science. It's an interesting world we live in. But the beauty is you can always get back to the reality and do what you're doing. Like, you can compartmentalize. It doesn't
Right.
mean that, you don't
Right.
live in the world that you live in. But
Mhm.
again, I mean, just, you guys look it up yourselves. Go on Instagram and look it up. And you've got dudes that have, like, do the experiments. They show you. And the best part is, it's what I'm telling you is real, because if you Google flat Earth or something, all you see is all the debunking videos. Now,
Mhm.
they do that on purpose.
Mhm. Yeah. It's interesting. No, since I've been following you on Twitter, I've been seeing these experiments that you retweet
Yeah.
and stuff. And yeah, it's
You know what's even
interesting.
crazier? I mean, if you want to enjoy the show, it's even crazier is I put one up today about, my Twitter account, about how the moon is actually 22 miles up, and somebody was able to measure it and whatever. And they've got an AI that's hunting people like me that post these things, and, like, it'll start wanting to argue with you. And this AI, by the way, it can pass what's called the Turing Test, meaning that
Yeah,
if you
really?
argue with it, you'll think you're arguing with a human. But
Get
you ain't.
out. Oh my God.
No, dude.
This is like this is
You
like
want an
some weird.
interesting podcast, don't you?
Yeah, no
Absolutely.
kidding. This is very, very interesting.
It's like it's good in English, but it's stupid in the sense that it only has like 4 followers, and like it's not real. And it's like, you're an idiot. This isn't true. And I look at it, I'm like, I'm clicking that shit.
Wow. Huh.
Wow. Wow. Well,
Yeah, I mean, guys, we live in this is arguably the most exciting time to be alive, because what's happening is, and again, this is something anybody can research, called the Great Awakening.
Mhm.
People are starting to wake up. You think I'm telling you stuff. I mean, I know nothing compared to some of the people out there. I mean, we're talking about just the truth is coming out. And this is an incredible time to be alive, and an incredible time to witness it. It's not easy, like I said, because you're going to have a lot of people looking at you like you're a moron. But, critical thinking, research always saves the day, which is why we do what we do at Trade Ideas. We back it up with the numbers.
Right.
This isn't fantasy. We think about this, but going back to what we started this podcast for, we're the only vendor in this world of vendors that has a system that makes calls, that you can audit.
Yeah, that's
who else does it? Nobody, because they're all afraid.
No, that's next gen stuff. Definitely. I mean, I'd love to spend some time with you and get to learn about this AI, because I've always been fascinated by it, and I know nothing about it. So,
well, the best part is, you can take a look at it on the software every day. It's on. In fact, right now, the AI in our server room is crunching numbers, getting ready for, it's card counting. It's doing the Vegas blackjack, beat the house, card counting, but for stocks.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's like the evolution of where poker is today. Dan, I couldn't imagine playing without, poker's like I use software to study now. Like, I mean, and I have for years, but I couldn't imagine playing now without studying with software. It's like, the old days of, like, looking the guy in the eyes and knowing if he has it or not. It's done. You know what I'm saying? You don't play like that no more.
I think that goes back to what I was saying about simulator trading. You got to put in the proper reps of seeing the hands.
Yeah. Exactly.
And over and over and over again. And ours is the same thing. You got to simulate yourself through lots of P&L setups to get your emotions involved, because you want to win. And one of the reasons why we're bringing gaming into it, so that you actually can play for something with fake money, but actually win real money, and then learn something with tying in the right emotions.
Yeah. I think that's an awesome idea, and I definitely wish you guys the best of luck there. I think, because I think the whole, and this is what I talked to JJ about too. It's like, especially like with the younger generation growing up and the popularity of games and stuff. And it's like, that's problem solving. And you look at the markets, it's the same way. You can look at it through those lenses. You know what I mean? As a game, you're trying to figure out, trying to beat.
Absolutely.
And same thing with poker. And so I think going in that direction, I mean, who knows where it could go? I could see it exploding. I see it being a great idea. So,
well, we're very excited about it, because again, it's also doing something good. And I say it's kind of counterintuitive for people in terms of what I'm about to say, but we want you to slow down and practice more and trade a little bit less so that you can last longer. If somebody taught me that, it would have saved me $100,000.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. The number one rule is to learn how to survive first before thinking about learning how to make money.
That's right.
And you know, the wonderful thing is, you know, I started in this business in 1993.
Right.
I've been a trader since 96. And it's just amazing, the software, how it's come, and now AI. I mean, you know, the people who write this code and build this software, like, you know, your product, you know, I always look at them sort of the Da Vinci's of the modern world, you know, so I'm very excited to take a look at the software. And
there's no finish line for us.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool.
I love that. Hey, Dan, you mentioned before, I meant to ask you this before. You're saying taking your guys' technology and the AI into, you mentioned like the sports, I don't know if gambling or like DFS arena.
It's gamification. So we're kind of like going to be competing with FanDuel and
okay. Mm-hmm.
Our game's on all the time, and it's the stock market.
Got you. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you was going to take the technology into that industry, but I hear what you're saying now.
There's so much to do in ours. You know,
right.
Teach people how to trade. There's going to be small cap tournaments, large cap tournaments, FANG tournaments, you know, short tournaments, long tournaments, monthly, you know, swing tournaments.
Yeah.
All sorts of different things.
Wow. I mean, that's exciting. I mean, it gets me excited, honestly, Dan. Like that's
well, we're super, I mean, again, the innovation cycle's there. It's just about execution.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Good stuff. Jay, any other topics you want to discuss with Dan?
No, it's just really nice to meet you. It's nice to meet, you know, because I always heard about the SOES bandits. I actually never met one.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
You know, it was great. And you were actually at block trading. Were you down?
I was.
That must have been something, because it's an interesting town. It's got a music scene. It's got this day trading scene.
Well, you know, that's where we went to school. It's a great little town in the Austin Hill country. Beautiful. It's much different than it was when I went to school. You know, now it's almost like a little Orange County-esque from Orange County, California, high rises and things like that.
But it's been wonderful having you on. I really appreciate it.
I'm probably your first Flat Earth podcast guy.
Hey, yeah, you know.
Got to notch one up.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right. Well, I think with the way you've presented yourself, Dan, your style of thinking, I don't, you know, people are going to have to go look into this because you didn't come off as some type of Yahoo. You know what I mean? You come across as a very well-intelligent guy.
We all have something in common. We all started believing we were on a sphere revolving around the sun, and then something happened. I was where everybody else is, same place. Then I got filled, and it wasn't, you know, and by the way, you know, like just like everybody else, you don't want to believe it at first. You're like, come on, no way, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So that concludes today's episode of Confessions of a Market Maker. If you guys enjoyed the podcast, please rate and review it for us. If you're interested in learning market profile, if you're keen on trading a liquid market, if you got a small account, if you trade crude oil, trade equities, come join up JJ and I at microefutures.com. Dan, I want to thank you a lot, man. I really enjoyed this. I enjoy your independent style of thinking, what you've done with Trade Ideas, what you've done as a businessman.
Well, let me add one last thing. We're in the middle of a test drive right now at Trade Ideas, so you can still come in and take a look at the software, all premium AI for only $8.99. Mm-hmm. That's going to be, you can still sign up all the way through next Wednesday. It just started on Monday. Beautiful. So it's like a 2-week thing that we do every now and then because we just launched a bunch of innovations. We just added news. So you can tie in the news to the alerts and see like if an AI makes a signal, were there any news that, you know, so it's all coming in together into one place. So that's my kind of last bit. It's www.trade-ideas.com. And we would love to have you take a look and check out the software. You can do it right now for $8.99. And that's all premium, everything.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow. Go check that out, guys.
Definitely.
Not going to be disappointed. Dan, do you want to give them your Twitter handle at all? Is that something or no?
Too much for normies. Sorry, guys.
Too much for normies.
Too much.
But yeah, anyway,
let's take it one step at a time. You don't need to Twitter handle. Just do some research.
Absolutely. So for Dan Mirkin, he's the gorilla. I'm Ray Moltisanti. You guys use stops though.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.